At the start of the 1980s, the movement for self-determination and decolonization for Guam was at its peak. As a result, in May of 1980, the Guam legislature passed Bill 417, declaring that the time has come for the people of Guam to choose their future political status. Governor Paul Calvo signed the bill into law as Public Law 15-128. The law established the Commission on Self-Determination for the People of Guam, tasked to ascertain the desire of the people of Guam as to their future political relationship with the United States of America. This involved forming task forces for the major political status options, conducting a public education campaign, and holding a political status plebiscite. Originally set for September 12, 1981, the plebiscite was rescheduled to January 30, 1982. The voting options included statehood, independence, free association, incorporated territory, Commonwealth, status quo, and a write-in category. The law noted that if no one status received a simple majority, then a runoff election would be held. The commission would then draft a Federal Territorial Relations Act based on the plebiscite result to be submitted to the U.S. Congress and represent Guam in negotiations with the U.S. for its desired political status. So what were the anticipated voting outcomes of the status plebiscite? If the previous plebiscites of 1976 indicated anything, it showed that the most popular political status options were improved status quo at 58% and statehood at 24%. However, at the start of the 1980s, another status was becoming popular, and that was Commonwealth status. Commonwealth was attractive because it satisfied the general desire of Guam to remain close with the U.S. while improving the self-governance of Guam than what the status quo allowed. Unlike statehood or independence, Commonwealth status lacks specific, predefined elements in its political relationship. Instead, the details are open to negotiation between Guam and the U.S. Nonetheless, Commonwealth entails a closer political relationship with the U.S. and a recognition of U.S. sovereignty. The people of Guam were familiarizing themselves with Commonwealth status as they observed how the Northern Mariana Islands successfully negotiated for Commonwealth status with the U.S. in 1976, subsequently gaining greater self-governance while maintaining a close relationship with the U.S. Furthermore, Commonwealth status was seen as an interim status, in that it was not considered a final political status. Based on this reason, Commonwealth attracted even some supporters of statehood because they saw Commonwealth as a stepping stone towards statehood. The results of the 1982 plebiscites reflected this sentiment, as Commonwealth status received the highest number of votes at 48.5%, with statehood getting second place at 25.7%, followed by status quo at 10%. All the other options received even less. However, since none of the political status options received the simple majority requirements, a runoff election was scheduled for September 4th, 1982, between the two top choices, Commonwealth and statehood. In the runoff election, Commonwealth decisively beat statehood, receiving 72.8% of the votes. The 1982 plebiscite and runoff election results clearly showed that the people of Guam desired Commonwealth status. Guam leaders had a well-defined political objective to establish Guam as a Commonwealth, following the example of their neighbors, the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, the CNMI. What happens next will be covered in another video. The 1982 plebiscite also marks the rise of the Organization of People for Indigenous Rights, OPR, a pivotal Chamorro activist group advocating for Chamorro self-determination. Their core belief was that self-determination should be exclusive to the Chamorro people due to being the colonized people of Guam. They argued that the plebiscite should be limited to only Chamorro voters, as international law regarding self-determination pertained to colonized peoples. To include everyone in the plebiscite is to deny Chamorros their rights of self-determination, which they were historically denied under colonial powers. Although OPR did not succeed in their goal of limiting the 1982 plebiscite and runoff election vote to only the Chamorro people, OPR made a significant impact in bringing the message of Chamorro self-determination into the consciousness of the Chamorro people as well as non-Chamorros, with Chamorro self-determination even becoming politically mainstream as Public Law 23-147 in January of 1997. The 1982 plebiscite marked a significant step towards decolonization and signaled the beginning of the Guam Commonwealth movement, Guam's pursuit of Commonwealth status. If you liked and enjoyed the video, consider supporting me on Patreon so I can continue to produce more Pacific Studies content. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on all notifications, follow me on social media at PulanSpeaks, and a special Seduce Masi to Patreon supporters Puti'on, Dylan Sablan, and Jesse Babauta. Seduce Masi for watching Guahusi Pulan, and Pulan has spoken. Esta.